And we go to Peru, where Congress elected Congressman José María Balcázar as the new interim president following the destitution of right-wing politician José Heri. The appointment in the Peruvian parliament focused on the election of the head of the board of directors, who will assume immediately the interim presidency of the country. It should be noted that Heri's removal has led to an institutional crisis and has exacerbated the nation's political landscape in times of crisis. In this sense, the new leader's main responsibility will be to guarantee the country's democratic transition towards the upcoming general elections scheduled for April 12th.
The result of the vote count is as follows. Candidate number to 46 votes, candidate number for 60 votes, blank 0 votes, invalid votes 34 votes, blank 0 votes, invalid votes 3 votes. Consequently, Congressman Balcázar has been elected President of the Congress of the Republic and has therefore been proclaimed as such.
And once the parliamentary vote was completed and the results were published, José María Balcázar was sworn in amidst a context of political transition. In his first message to the country, he committed to defending national sovereignty.
I, José María Balcázar, swear by God, by the country, and by all Peruvians who have faithfully served as President of the Republic, which I assume in accordance with the political constitution of Peru from this moment until July 26, 2026, that I will defend national sovereignty, the physical and moral integrity of the Republic and the independence of its democratic institutions, that I will expand and enforce the political constitution and laws of Peru, and that I will soon recognize the cultural and moral self-determination of the people. José María Balcázar.
Also, José María Balcázar, who has assumed the position of interim president of Peru, has declared his commitment to a democratic and peaceful transition. In his speech, he assured that his goal is to ensure that the upcoming elections are conducted in a transparent manner without any doubt as to their legitimacy.
There will be a peaceful, transparent democratic and electoral transition, with no doubt about the elections. Second, to maintain true peacefulness, and to have actions in the ministries to tackle citizen insecurity. I realize that they are not addressing the issue where they should. I have always said, Mr. President, that criminal organizations. I have been in the system. I have been in the justice system for many years, and if someone wants to solve the problem of the National Penitentiary Institute of Peru, and I say, well, they are wrong, completely wrong. That problem is not solved with a few laws. The National Penitentiary Institute responds to the entire national justice system. The Public Prosecutor's Office, the Judiciary, the Ministry of Justice, criminology institutes, universities. Otherwise we cannot solve it, and on top of that, organized crime is no longer a crime, as it traditionally was, national, no longer. The Araguat train, for example, has connotations of international terrorism, and well, that is why it should be punished by any country in the world, but we have to discuss this. And we have to sit down with thinking people, with people who really want to bring peace to this country.
And in this context, we want to invite Yvonne Tellez from Ecuador. She is an international law expert. Hello, Yvonne. Welcome to From the South. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yvonne, what are the main factors behind these circumstances being faced by Peru, this political instability in the nation? What can you explain regarding the precedent of this event?
Well, I think the immediate facts are, as we know, this removal of the president for the investigations of these undisclosed meetings with Chinese business people, allegations of this influence peddling, the questions also surrounding certain public appointments. However, as you state in your question, I think one of the things that we have to highlight is how Peru's constitution allows Congress to remove a president just under the concept of something that is called permanent moral incapacity. This concept has not been clearly defined in the constitutional Peruvian doctrine. It has a broad, flexible, interpretative flexibility. It has also been repeatedly used in the recent years. This is why we have had 8 presidents in Peru. So the structural concern here is one of the things I think is that this standard seems to be political rather than strictly judicial. That's one thing. It does not require a prior criminal conviction. It allows also the Congress to act based on this political evaluation of the legitimacy. But how does this moral incapacity tend or not to strengthen this democratic accountability? So I think this absence of this judicial finality uh, creates structural tensions. It brings political responsibility before any legal determination. I think that there's not a concrete evidence, and there's not a concrete evidentiarity threshold. And this, what we have seen, brings, of course, this political legitimacy crisis, and how this also this structural political fragmentation comes ahead uh, due to these crucial factors. We know that all of the last presidents, almost 7, have failed to complete their terms. This structural, also another factor is the highly fragmented party system, this weak institutional political parties, this lack of stable governing coalitions, and these strong powers in the Congress for removal of the executive. Also, you also were stating that there's elections coming up. There's an electoral context. We have dozens of parties competing at this time, and there's no dominant force, political force that's capable of guaranteeing a stable governance. So what we have as a result is that presidents are governing without strong legislative backing, and that Congress, in the end, retains this structural leverage over the executive.
You mentioned the current electoral process that is underway in the nation, and I wanted to ask you, what does this appointment of a new interim president is saying regarding the state of the nation's political and also democratic institutions ahead of this election? What's the current state?
Okay, well, we know that I think we have competing interpretations over here, because one of them is this democratic accountability, right? So the Congress is like fulfilling its, let's say, constitutional role, or this oversight role. We can see that this is like a prevention. This removal is like a prevention of the political abuse of power. And we can also state, and that's one of the things that some of people of the Congress are stating, that this early intervention was protecting, or is supposed to protect, institutional integrity. I am not here to qualify the outgoing president. However, what we have to see is the whole picture here. There's another thesis, and that's the political instrumentalization, as I was saying before, this ambiguity, for example, of this moral incapacity requirement. And there's another one, and I will stick to that one. It is the structural crisis thesis, and this is what we see is current and recurrent removals, and this, I think, signal a systemic design problem of the institutions and of the state. I think the constitutional framework, what it does is incentivize this confrontation. And I think that presidentialism functions under conditions of permanent instability. So what we have seen here is these structural patterns, current and coming elections. Probably one of the lectures could be that this removal before elections could sign kind of a tendency or a trend regarding who's going to be running or who's going to be possibly the candidate with the most approval or the most support from some political groups. But this also brings a very suspicious theory regarding how is transparency going to be guaranteed in this coming elections if this whole panorama that we are looking at right now is not changing the structural basis of the constitutional state of Peru.
Thank you very much, Yvonne, for your time hearing from the South and helping us to go deep into what is happening today in Peru.
Thank you very much for the invitation, as always.
We were speaking to Yvonne Tellez, international law expert, in the context of the political instability that is taking place in Peru at this moment. And we go to Peru, where Congress elected Congressman Jose Maria Balcázar as the new interim president following the destitution of far right-wing politician Jose Heri.